welcome back to another episode of Mind Over Matter, the space or the podcast where we dive deep into the mind, the heart, and the soul, to uncover what truly moves us forward. I'm your host Avik, and today's episode is one that leave you thinking differently about resilience, self-doubt, and the energy that shapes your life. Yes. And we often hear that resilience is all about pushing through, about the toughing it out, or you can say about staying positive no matter what. But what if the true resilience isn't about kind of forcing anything, uh, but not releasing, or but about releasing what actually holding us back, right? So on this, my guest today is Kanika Vasudeva. So welcome to the show, Kanika.
Thank you so much, Avik, for having me.
Lovely, lovely, Kanika. So, Kanika, like before we start, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners. Dear listeners, Kanika knows this journey firsthand. So, the question I was saying about the true resilience, we'll get to learn more in detail from her. But quickly, I'll introduce her. Like, she is an energy and consciousness coach. She helps people break free from the trauma, grief, and emotional baggage, not just through the mindset shifts, but by working with the energy itself. So, after she experienced the heartbreaking loss of her daughter, she discovered that deep transformation isn't just about managing the emotions, but it's all about clearing the root cause at an energetic level. Yes. I know all of you can relate to this. And I'm also thinking a lot of things about this topic. But also, this question is coming to my mind like, what if your subconscious blocks weren't just thoughts, but the energy patterns? What if overcoming self doubt wasn't about thinking your way out, but shifting that energy that keeps you stuck? Right, there are a lot of things. So why, I mean, we'll be like exploring today like why mental toughness isn't about forcing the positivity. It's all about letting go the neuroscience behind limiting beliefs and how we can rewire them for the success, and um, energy based techniques to instantly shift our emotional state and uh, build the true resilience. So I know that this is going to be a conversational, and that changes all of the perspective. So maybe even lives as well. So why to wait? Let's dive in. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And such a lovely intro. I really enjoyed that.
Lovely, lovely, Kanika. So Kanika, I mean, your journey is incredibly powerful, I have to say, and like you went through unimaginable loss. I mean, uh, I can understand, but yet you found a way not just to survive, but uh, truly heal and help others to do the same. So, if you can take us back to that moment, or maybe a pivotal moment that led you to energy healing.
Yeah, uh, definitely.
Hmm.
For me, the life-changing moment was definitely when my daughter passed away. Um, so if I can paint you a picture before that about life, my life was picture perfect on the outside. I was doing really well. If you would see any Facebook photographs, you would see, just a nice, good image. I was doing well from a job perspective. I was doing well in terms of a family perspective, going out on vacations, really seeming to have the time of my life.
Okay.
And yet inside, I wasn't feeling that great. And there were a couple of things that were happening. And I guess a lot of us have that. We just don't know it. So I would wake up during that time when I was pregnant with my daughter. I really would wake up. I would
Mm.
get up in the morning, and there would be days when I would just get up and cry. And my husband at the time, he would ask me, like, hey, what happened? Why are you crying about? I did not even have a reason to point out and say, okay, I'm crying because of this. I was just so sad that I was crying all the time. At that time, I would try and meditate as best as I could. I am an engineer and an MBA professional by background. I am very, very wired to think in terms of black and white. Like, there's no logic. So just meditation did not make sense. And even meditation, before I could even do that, I had to really read books and understand, like, really, what is this stuff that people are talking about? Is this proven? Will I actually have benefits? So on. And I only just tried it because I thought, well, there are not going to be any side effects. So, if I'm crying like this, let me try that. But I was very sad, and I discovered later why I was so sad. But at that time, I was just not happy at all. And then I lost my daughter. Um, so because I lost her, I really had to come to terms with it, because before that, even though I was unhappy, life has a circle. Like every day you get up, I had to drop my son to school. There were things to do, like as a circle. Every day I all of us can understand that there's a routine that we all follow. So I was just following that circle every day, getting up and doing the same hamster wheel again and again and again. But when I lost my daughter, it was finally enough that then I got like, oh, okay. Now I have to just look within, because the grief was so deep. I could not escape from it because I could not sleep at night. I just really had to deal with it. There was no way that I could even just cry in the morning and then just go through the day. Like it was horrible. Beyond what I could carry. And so then in my journey, trying to connect with my daughter, because I really wanted to understand what happened. She was a surprise baby that I'd conceived, and then she hadn't come into life. So it was partly I was just asking that, hey, did I do something wrong? What did I do? And do you know that I love you? It really needed to communicate. And I think this time the pull was strong enough that I really was ready to go inside.
Correct.
Essentially, what had happened before this, that although I wanted to be happy, I just did not have the courage. We run away from sitting down and looking at ourselves because it just feels like, oh, you start realizing the minute we sit down, we realize how much pain, how much trauma we are. And that's why we'll do everything else but sit down with ourselves. Like we'll go out, we'll watch a movie, we'll talk to a friend, we'll go and get busy in some fitness activities or so on. But we will not sit with ourselves because it's just so hard to look at the thing inside. But for me, my world was shattering, so I had to look inside. I did try meditation then. That was hard because I would meditate for 5 minutes. I would finish the 5 minutes, let's say, and I'm saying let's say because it was even hard to meditate for 5 minutes. Just tightening the mind down for 5 minutes. Ah, but after 5 minutes, the trouble is that I would come back to the same things again. Life was still the same. That hadn't shifted. It wasn't working very well. Mindset shift wasn't working very well because I knew that I had to think positively. I knew I had a little son to look after. I knew I needed to be happy. But my emotions were still there. I was still grieving. I was still shocked.
Yes.
So luckily, and as I was going through this search, I was always asking the universe, if now this has happened, and you need to just get me out, because if I need to live and I cannot check out of my life, you need to show me a way, and what do I do so that I can get out of this? And through various circumstances, I bumped into a teacher who first introduced energy healing. Now, energy healing is a very composite healing, very holistic. It looks at our physical body, so the body that you and I are talking to, like this is Kanika right now, this shape, this hair being front of you today. And it also integrates our emotional and mental body. Emotional body is our feelings that we feel, the emotions that we go through. Mental body is the logical part of us that reasons, that questions, that repeats. And the energetic. The energetic body is the wiring, the subconscious wiring that all of us are living within. Sometimes from this lifetime, so that could be from your childhood, and then that could be from years before this or lifetime as well. So as I worked through energy healing, that was a lot deeper because then I could say hello to my, I could look back and I finally started understanding that this that I brought up. And on surface in the human existence, we can think that some things are not okay. That's losing the child, and by no means am I diminishing that. But it seems like a very, very heartbreaking moment. And I say that as a mom as well, that it definitely felt like that. My world shattered. But what I also realized was that as a soul, I had made an agreement with my daughter before I took birth on earth. So I had an agreement with her before that. The soul to soul agreement existed. And that agreement was that, okay, if my life is going nowhere, if I'm going to waste my life, please come into my life and do something so that I can wake up. She actually just kept her part of the agreement.
Yeah.
She came to wake me up. So as hard as it feels at a physical level, there's so many things that happen for us in the wider scheme of things that we as humans don't fully understand. But energy healing helps us get through that. So for me, that itself was a very healing thing. Just understanding that I hadn't done anything wrong, that I wasn't guilty as a mom because it's really building my, it's not mom cannot even produce a child, you know?
Yeah.
Like that was a very basic thing I was supposed to do. I was carrying a baby. I was just supposed to have her out alive.
Yeah.
And I failed at that. Physically, human experience, it felt really wrong. I was wronging myself in the very, like, just the fabric of me. I'm a woman. That's what a woman is supposed to do. And I did not do that. But at the same time, when you look at it in the bigger picture and you start understanding that it wasn't this, it was meant for a bigger purpose. And I'm still connected to my daughter. She's helping me in the work that I do now.
Wow.
There was a lot of peace.
That's really lovely. I mean, I really loved it. I mean, thank you for sharing this because there are a lot of things to learn from this, and I believe listeners will definitely gonna resonate with it. And um, so here one more thing, like I have to say that because so often like we are conditioned to believe that healing only happens in the mind. Uh, like we analyze, we talk it out, we try to think our way to peace. But what if healing is kind of actually about something much deeper? So what do you say?
Yeah, yeah. Like at that time, if I look back, I definitely knew I needed to be happy.
Yeah.
And was I trying? I was, but it just wasn't working. When we just look at one part, which is our mindset, we say, hey, just that is just one part of you. That is just the logical part. Yes, there's a logical part that needs to understand that, oh, you can overcome that fear or whatever you were scared of, whatever you need to change. Yes, you can talk to it. But there's the emotions that need to be heard, seen, they're stored in your body physically somewhere. I'll give you an example. This was a time where I was working through one of my sessions. There was so as I do my meditations now, I usually will put my hand somewhere and physically just
Yeah.
look at that. And this time I was just touching my feet as I was meditating. There was a tender spot that I was feeling. And I was just meditating, not even really looking at that spot, but just generally working and working around that area in my meditation. And as I continued doing the meditation, there was a deep thing that I brought up around me, which was more around me accepting myself fully. What I discovered in that meditation was that um, there are layers of self love and there are layers of self acceptance. And what I was realizing was okay, as much as I'm really allowing me to say the stuff that I want to say and to do what I want to do on a daily basis, there's still a part of me that feels that's carrying pastime energy and does not feel as welcome here. And this is very personal, but I'm going to share this for a lot of the audience.
Mm.
What I was seeing in my meditation was that when I was born, I'm a girl, right? And so when I was born for a little time, at that time when I was born, it was like, oh, she's a girl, and there was just that thing. So I came out, and I suppose I did not even have a very bad upbringing. You know, I come from India. There's still unfortunately places where girls are not welcome, girls are even killed. So nothing like that happened in the broad scheme of things. I was raised with a lot of love, um, as well as all of my other siblings. But this is just that moment in time that I'm talking about when I was born. And so that was my welcome, right? And even though words are not spoken, we understand that. We understand in the body, we also understand in the spirit, whether we are being welcomed or not. And there was a little underlying fear there that, my mom had just delivered, and it was like, okay, what is the family going to say? How are they going to react to the girl being born? And so, even in a flicker of a second or a minute, my body and my spirit had picked up that I wasn't welcome, that I, as I am not welcome enough. So I should be hiding myself. So I was watching that in my meditation and I was just clearing that. I was just feeling my emotions there, saying hello to them and just hearing myself out, just looking at my path, which felt as a baby that it wasn't welcome. And I just listened to her and I was still rubbing my feet. And as soon as I cleared that and I'm touching my feet still, I couldn't even feel the spot anymore because it had gone. So there's a lot of times where we feel our physical body gives us a pain or something, and we tend to douse it out with all the medication. And I'm not saying don't do that, but by the time your physical body is actually showing you something, it's telling you it's paining or something, it should have given you 100 signals before that. It's given you signals when you were not feeling well, like when you just, when you said, oh, I'm not happy right now, when you were not blissful. It was giving you signals when something just felt a little hunch before you were about to do something. Your body gave you a signal and said, okay, don't do this. You went ahead and did it anyway. There are hundreds of signals that our body gives us. For a disease to manifest, I strongly believe that there's a deeper emotional trauma and stress, which science is also coming up with and saying that the stress causes a lot of the stuff. That's the pain that causes a lot of the stuff. So just mindset alone is
Yeah.
really just one little thing there. It's one tiny piece or one fraction in a whole big puzzle.
True. Understood. That's very, very true. Yeah, I have to say. S- So, okay, like one of the biggest challenges that people face is self-doubt.
Mhm.
And uh, it keeps us like and like from taking any action, from trusting someone, or even trusting us as well. And I mean, like from an energy perspective, what's really happening when we experience this kind of self-doubt? What do you say?
Well, self-doubt, or basically anything, any problem that you have, like let's say you're wanting to manifest the perfect relationship,
Yeah.
and that's not happening. You're wanting to have a lot of money, you want to shift your job, you want to go to another country, whatever that is. At the basis of everything
Mhm.
is self-doubt or fear of change, something, right? Like there's a body's internal mechanism. There's our own inner child, which is remembering that, hey, so for example, with me, and maybe because I've shared this story, so it'll become easier for the listeners to understand as well. I talked around how I felt unwelcomed as a little baby.
Okay.
And so when I feel like that, then automatically what I'm doing on the outside is I'm going, okay, I'm a girl, I shouldn't be seen, and that's safer. Because if I'm not seen, I'm not getting into trouble, it's safe, right? So the body is actually protecting me. And this is the energetic body, which is holding that imprint that it is safe to not be seen. It is safe to be invisible.
Mhm.
What the outside reaction of that, how is that manifesting? Is that maybe I want to be as popular amongst friends. Still, I had that. Or maybe if I really want to be authentic and I really want to talk about my ideas, I will have a lot of self doubt because then that means that I need to be seen. If I want to perhaps apply for a better job or seek out a promotion or change something, I need to be seen for that. So that brings in the self doubt. So on the outside, I'm thinking that, hey, I don't have self doubt, but there's a bigger underlying pattern that's going in here, which is that, oh, my belief is that I don't want to be seen. And why I'm holding on to that belief is because there's a fear that if I am seen, I'm not safe. There's always fear below everything. So what we have to do, and to give all the listeners just a tip to take away, just notice what is it below everything that you're actually afraid of. And then start talking to all parts of you, start talking to your mental part, and talk how it is okay, because you need to appeal that mental part, how is it okay to be seen. So, for example, I would work with, if I'm just taking my example, being seen, I'll do the session on myself.
Okay.
So then the thing would be, okay, if I want to be seen, if I want to be heard, and I want to tell myself that I'm going to be safe, right? So I'll just talk out. Okay, how will I be safe? And how it's different, because that time I might have felt that, oh, I don't want to be seen as a girl, as a baby. But I just have to talk to my logical mind and logically explain to it, because there is a part in me, definitely, that is resisting being seen. So I have to talk it out and then say that, oh, I want to be seen, and it's okay to be seen. It's okay to be seen because then I'll have more money, or I'll have a better relationship. I want to be seen in the relationships that I am seen as me, I'm loved as me. But that's my job, that I have to do that mentally. I have to do that emotionally. I have to figure out where it is in my body and just talk to that body part and heal that. And then similarly with my energetic body, I have to look at this belief that, oh, I don't want to be seen, and replace that with a positive belief instead. So for me, my belief is I want to be seen. Why not?
Exactly.
Uh, and if I felt like I wasn't welcomed at the time when I was born, then I just tell myself that, okay, I welcome myself. I welcome myself as I am. So it's okay. Nobody needs to give it to me. I can give that to me. I can tell that to me.
But at the same time, we need to align as well on this, right? I mean, am I correct, right?
Yes, you need to align. What you're saying is that your body really needs to feel it. If there is so mindset work or affirmations when people do, that's just a little bit of it. And yes, you can say that, you can do that, you can say that over and over again. So I could say I will welcome myself and I want to be, or I'm okay, I'm safe being seen, I love being seen. I can say that 1,000 times. But if my body is not accepting it, guess what? I live in my body right now. So if my body is not accepting it, if my body is resisting it, if my body carries the memories of this lifetime, of previous lifetimes, all the memories, because its job is to keep me safe. Its job is to keep me alive. My body is, that is the whole purpose of my body, right? Like keep me going, keep me alive as much as possible. So it will do whatever it can to keep me protected. And if body is still holding that belief that it's not okay to be seen, my mindset work will keep going, but it will not enter through my body because
Mm.
my body is not bought into it. And that's what you're talking around alignment, that I have to align. My body has to accept that. Not with resistance, not with force. You can't push it, right? So when we're just doing the mindset work and not saying hello to the body, we are just pushing it. We're almost saying like, hey, this is what it is. This is what you've got to do now. I'm in command. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen like that. You've got to work as a team with love.
Exactly, exactly true. Actually, you you took my word. So yes, so I was just saying like yes, it is very very true, and that's so powerful because how often like do we try to fight self doubt with the logic and it doesn't work? Like same way uh, we say to ourselves, we tell ourselves that I'm confident, and like you mentioned, if even if we say it 1,000 times, like but if the energy behind it's not aligned, we still feel stuck. So that's very very true. That's true.
Yeah. And that's the reason I find with all my clients, like if they say, oh, I'm going out, but I'm just not getting a partner like who is coming to me, or I'm not able to attract the right kind of person. Well, what is it that you're holding inside? You have to clear that first. You are at one place, you are saying that, oh, I want a loving relationship. But there's a part of you that's repelling the same love at the same time because you're afraid of something. You either had a very dysfunctional relationship before, you did not feel safe with your parents, but there's something underlying there where your body is really resisting it. Because if your body is in alignment with what you want, like you're talking it through, it's coming through your mental space, it's coming in your energetic space, it's coming in your physical space, emotional space, it will happen.
Exactly.
Because if the channels of love, it just can't come.
Mm. Very true. Yeah, I totally agree. So Kanika, like on this also, like for someone who's completely new to this, new to the energy healing, this might be some, I mean, sound fascinating, but also a kind of abstract for them. So, what's the one simple way you can suggest they can, I mean, they can begin experiencing this shift in their own life?
Yeah, I am really, really passionate about teaching everyone about energy healing. So that's why I very frequently I do live sessions where people come in and I teach them live how to heal their own patterns. And they'll come into a session, they'll actually work on something that they are having a hard time letting go of, or whether it's whatever limiting pattern they're stuck in. And we'll work together in the group. I'll hold a space so that they can actually shift it in that time. It's a beautiful space that I hold regularly. People can check it at artoflifecenter.com/live. And I try and have these sessions at least about once a month because I'm just so passionate about it. I think we all understand fundamentally that we need to change something, but we just don't know how. So I've struggled with that myself. And hence, this is what I want to do for everyone as well. Like, give them tools to actually live, give them tools to actually do this. Because it's really simple. Once you start working with it, the energy tools is so simple that you'll start feeling the difference within that 1 hour. That you have the live session, like you'll come out of it and you'll feel it. And it's not even something that, okay, you feel it and then it happens just for, 1 hour or 10 days or so on. It's not that. The thing is, when you clear the energy, so when you holistically clear all of it, that bit you've removed and you've removed for good. So when I looked at my team, for example, around, hey, like I wasn't well at birth, When I cleared it, it starts meditation and then that's gone. Like there's a before and then there's an after and it's totally different. And that's what I want to leave people with as well. So they can always reach out to me for these sessions at the link. And I can also be reached at Kanika Energy Coach. That's Kanika Energy Coach Instagram.
That's amazing. That's really, really amazing. And I'll say, dear listeners, like that's such a great takeaway. And uh, the best part is, it's really sounds like it isn't about another, adding another to do, but it's all about learning, learning, and learning, and how to release and realign. So that's very, very important. And listeners, but I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference so that you can easily reach out to her. You can have one-on-one session with her so that you feel, that healing, that release and realign. So uh, also, Kanika, like before we wrap, like if you could leave our listeners with one powerful thought about the resilience and the transformation, what would it be?
I would just want to remind everyone, or perhaps invite everyone to think about their life again. And what I mean by that is just don't think of yourself as a victim. Don't think like all of this is happening to me. I can talk about my story. At one end, it felt like the whole world collapsed. And so I felt like the victim. And I'm going to leave you with a question instead. And I want you to just think, what if every single moment in your life is actually happening for your good? What if life is actually working out for you? So resilience, when you're trying to work through something, get to something, what if you just stopped fighting that? What if you just assumed, even as an experiment, you don't have to fully believe it, but just as an experiment, just be curious and just go like, okay, what if I don't control this right now? And what if I just settle and relax? Because we try and control in the human mind, but we actually can't control anything. We cannot control our life. I cannot control when I'm going to take my last breath or even if, what happens right now. So we try and control a lot. But what if you don't? What if trust that the universe is there? What if when you have a moment where you're feeling really overwhelmed, you ask the universe for help instead? And don't have expectations. Don't have like, oh, this is the person who needs to give me this. This is how it needs to come in. But just have an open mind and just go, okay, I need help with this because it will show up. And that's resilience. Just that. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to be anything. Just just talk to the universe and just go, hey, I need help. And I surrender now. And you do it for me. And just watch how that works, really.
That's really lovely, I have to say. Yeah. And great. And I'll say that's the message that I think we all need to hear. And because the truth is, resilient isn't about fighting harder, but it's all about uh, shifting, aligning, stepping into the life where we meant for. So that's all. And great. What an incredible conversation. Kanika, thank you so much for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and uh, these powerful tools for the transformation.
Thanks a lot, Avik. It is such a pleasure to be here.
Lovely, lovely. And for the listeners, I have to mention that everyone who is listening, or maybe you will be listening, if today's episode has resonated with you, take a moment, think about where in your life you have been trying to push through. When maybe that the real answer is to let go. So, what energy are you holding on to that no longer serves you? And uh, what would happen if you gave yourself that permission to shift? So, if you think and if you want to dive deeper into Kanika's work, be sure to check out all the links into the show notes. And if you have loved this episode, do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because when we heal ourselves, we heal the world around us. So, with this hope, until next time, stay mindful, stay open, and remember your transformation starts within. So, see you in the next episode of Mind Over Matter.